Salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the show where we talk about those things that we love, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all that good stuff. Joining me in the studio today is our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Hello, hello.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer-Burnett.
Greetings, all.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. We've got some good ones too. And then in the second part of the show, that's when we take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, question you'd like us to address, as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on our show, we do reserve the right to not answer something if we don't think it's appropriate. But go ahead and fire it on into our super chats using the live chats there, and we'll get around to answering it in the second part of the show. All right, you know what? Let's bring this conversation public. We were talking before the show started today, because last night I did the movie club of The Martian. And of course, you can't talk about The Martian without talking about NASA, right?
I think it's Naysay.
Naysay. Yeah, you're right. The proper pronunciation is Naysay.
You did a movie club about The Martian without me?
You were out yesterday. I was going to talk to you about it yesterday, but you were out.
You snooze, you lose, Rob.
So we talk about it, and when this has been going on for years. Whenever we talk about any movie that involves NASA, I inevitably will get some people who think they're English professors who will write to me and say, John, that's not how you pronounce the word. It's NASA, not Nassau. And people said that for years. And here has always been my response, because I had to do it again last night and today. I said, you do realize that Nassau, or NASA, if you prefer, you do know that's not a word, right? NASA's not a word. It's an acronym. So let me ask you a question, I would say. How do you pronounce CNN? How do you pronounce NFL? How do you pronounce, I don't know, CNBC? How do you say that? And I said, if you want to be a stickler about it, and if you want to be really picky and you want to be literal, there is only one proper pronunciation, and that proper pronunciation is NASA. That's the proper pronunciation. That's it. Because NASA, NASA, isn't a word. So you can say it however you want. It doesn't matter. I say Nassau, and I always will. But Rob, you actually had an interesting response to that when I brought that up.
Well, because there's an island.
We're called Nassau.
Nassau, yeah. You know, and whenever I hear, Nassau, I think James Bond, Bahamas, cool.
Yep, 100%.
But I think though that NASA, when I was a kid, I was such a fan of the space program but if you really look at it, if you think about it, because NASA, SA, would be the way to saw, like you're saying, it's closer to what you're than NASA.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, it depends what you think how the A works. I mean, I don't,
But at the end of the day, it's not a word.
But now you have me wanting to come up with a way to say NFL without saying NFL, like
Nuffle.
Niffle.
Like Nuffle.
Niffle.
I love the Nuffle.
That's better than peacock. All right. Anyway, guys.
Nibble.
Now that we've moved beyond phonetics and our phonetics lesson for today, let's get on to some movie stuff here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. Avengers Doomsday is coming, and there's been a lot of debate about, because of the current state of the MCU, which we've talked about a lot over the last couple of years, is, again, I think it's fair to say that the MCU is in the weakest state that it's been in since really the inception of the MCU. I mean, for right up from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame, the MCU was flying high. Everybody was super excited about everything they had coming up. We had total unshakable belief in the MCU. But, since Endgame, they've been kind of hit and miss. So a lot of people have been wondering about, because Rob, we get the question almost every day. We don't read it every day, but I got a question sent in every day. Is Marvel done if Avengers Doomsday fails? And it's a fair question. It's just that it comes in all the time. And then when you talk about box office, a lot of people wonder, could Spider-Man do better at the box office than Doomsday? Could Odyssey do better at the box office than Doomsday? Could Mario Brothers, remember the last one made over $1.3 billion, could it make more than that? Well, there's a really interesting article in Variety that was talking about the new CEO of Disney and some of the challenges that he's going to be facing. And in the article, in one of the paragraphs, they kind of address both of those questions about how much is actually riding on Doomsday and how is it expected to do from the perspective, not of Disney, but of all the other studio heads. This is the article, an excerpt from the article in Variety that reads the following. Some pundits argue, not me, that the future of the superhero franchise may ride on the hotly anticipated Avengers Doomsday, although sources inside the company's film division believe that the health of the MCU does not hinge on an individual title. Executives are pleased with what they've seen for the December release, that's Doomsday. And here's the interesting part. Rival studio heads, other studio heads, not Disney, are privately predicting that Doomsday will be this year's highest grossing film. All right. I have a couple of thoughts about this. On the question of how much is riding on Doomsday, it's important. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to undersell it. It's very vital. It's important. And a Doomsday that crashes and burns quality-wise, alienates the audience, depending on what it does at the box office, it's damaging. Don't misinterpret me. But the one safety net that it has is that just 1 year later, we've got Avengers Secret Wars, which could be a fix-all, right? So even if Doomsday doesn't do great, let's say it falls on its face, you still got Secret Wars coming 1 year later that would have the potential to salvage the whole thing. So would a failing Doomsday hurt? Absolutely, 100%. But is it the be-all, end-all? If it wasn't for the fact that Secret Wars was just 1 year later, maybe I would say yes. But because that's there, it's a potential safety net. As far as the box office predictions go, you know, Rob, I have been hesitant over the past 2 years to even have Doomsday in the conversation of a potential $2 billion film. Like I said, I've always said it's going to be a massive hit. It's going to be huge. No doubt it joins the $1 billion club, all that stuff. But I've been hesitant about it making $2 billion because of the state of the MCU and all that kind of stuff. Now, of course, after I got read in onto everything that happens in Doomsday, I changed my tune. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's going to go see this. I've always believed that Doomsday is going to be the highest grossing film of the year. I still do. I don't agree with, somebody brought up on the show yesterday, it's going to make $3 billion. No, I think that's fantasy, but it's going to be big. And I do believe it'll be the biggest one of the year. And I think it's interesting that other studio heads are already kind of conceding that as long as it doesn't, crap the bed and it ends up being a horrible movie, which I can't see it happening, it will be the biggest film. Anyway, Rob, two interesting things brought up here. Disney doesn't believe that everything is hinging on Doomsday. Like, even if it falls on its face, they don't believe that's the be-all, end-all of it. But they do, other studio heads are also believing it will be the biggest film of the year. What do you make of those two statements?
Well, the lowest grossing Avengers movie was $1.4 billion, and that was Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And the first Avengers movie grossed more than that. Then Infinity War and Endgame, Endgame almost grossed $3 billion.
Came close.
And I would say that in terms of where the MCU is, we act like this finite juggernaut was always going to just roll along and make as much money. There's been 40 MCU movies. 40. Or Doomsday is the 40th or something.
Yeah, it's closing in.
It's closing in. 40. And collectively, these movies are by far the highest grossing franchise in entertainment history. So the idea that was going to continue forever. I mean, okay, so Marvel's been in a bit of a slump. Because when they started to have to produce TV shows and all of that, the quality, they were spread a little thin.
It diluted the brand. It really did.
But now, if you look at what we've seen, you've got Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which, while they didn't gross a ton of money, comparatively speaking, I think both of those movies are quite respectable. And then Wonder Man was wonderful.
So good.
So
So
good, yeah.
surprisingly
It was
good.
so much fun. And then, I heard David Bean Cooley on NPR recommending great TV shows.
Yeah.
And he picked Wonder Man was one of them.
If I can just keep getting Night of the Seven Kingdoms and Wonder Man, I'll be happy.
I'd be very happy for the rest of the year.
And you've got Daredevil Born Again Season 2 coming. And we have Vision Quest, which I
think that's a sleeper right now. I
am
think
sure
Vision Quest is
I
the
can
sleeper.
guarantee you that it is a great show because Terry Matalas made it, and it is, that's going to be the last thing that leads into, that comes out, I think October. And that's the last thing that leads into Doomsday. And I can tell you, dude, like I've said, Doomsday is a Tony Montana sized mountain of cocaine that every viewer is going to stick their face in, lift their face up. And that's what it's going to do. They have designed it to do that, and it's based on the Hickman, and then the Secret Wars, and that the lead up to all that. And you read that, and it's like, if I was a little kid, knowing what I know, if I was a little kid, I would say that Doomsday is the greatest movie ever made.
Of course, you have not seen the movie.
No, I
yet.
haven't seen it, but knowing what I know, I mean, as a kid,
Yeah.
the kid in me is I can't wait to see. Everyone's going to go see this movie. Not only that, because it's going to be Doomsday, everyone's going to go see Doomsday and Dune 3 on the same day. They're going to make it. It's going to be.
And they're not just going to see Doomsday once.
No.
A lot of
they're
people are going
not.
to see it multiple times.
This might be. I'm not predicting that this is going to be the best Marvel movie, because I mean, who knows how it's going to be executed. But I'll give this early prediction, and I say take this with a grain of salt that I haven't seen it yet. I think this is going to be the most rewatchable Marvel movie. Like, when you know things that happen in it, I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be the best one, but I think it's going to be the most rewatchable one.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I would, to take the drug analogy further, I think Avengers Doomsday is like being at a great club in Ibiza, and you have your favorite DJ spinning EDM music right as the sun is coming up over the island, and that's just when the ecstasy kicks in.
I was going to say in the E-Peaks.
Right on the breakdown. That is
I mean, we've all been there, right? Like, we've all been there.
That is what Doomsday is. I mean, I would say that Winter Soldier and I just rewatched Civil War, and I was surprised just how well Civil War holds up. Doomsday is it's a concert movie. It's an explosion of awesomeness. Whereas I don't think it necessarily has these subtle nuances of character moments, but it does have that. I mean, it's got all. It's going to be. I'm telling you, it's a shot of adrenaline. It's the scene in Pulp Fiction where you're Uma Thurman, man, and you're getting that. A Doomsday is that injection she gets,
syringe,
and it brings her out. It's the what do you do when you on heroin? What is it? Adrenaline. You're gonna get the shot of. That's what it's gonna be. A 3-hour adrenaline rush to your face.
I bet you guys minimum
wait.
each are probably going to see this thing 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even think that comes close to it.
Really? More for you?
I might see it 4 times in the first 4 days.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's and the thing is, they know. They know. William Shatner's manager, Larry Thompson, said, "What you want in the entertainment business." I've said this before.
I'm sorry. What did you call him? If you did not see the commercial, Rob, he now goes by William Shat.
Oh, okay, that's right. Right.
Like, did you not see the commercial?
I did.
He now identifies as William Shat.
But Larry
like
Thompson said,
Bill Shat.
Larry Thompson said the most important thing in the entertainment business is you need to have King Kong. You need to have King Kong. And if you know you have King Kong, all is right with the world. And then I said to him when he told me this, I said, well, what happens when King Kong breaks free and starts rampaging through New York? He's like, well, that's not good. But if you have King Kong and you know that you have the greatest attraction in the world, that's what everybody in the entertainment business is looking for. That's what Doomsday is. Doomsday is King Kong.
Yeah, but if King Kong breaks loose, then Secret Wars is what it is. That's what that is.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know nothing about Secret Wars other than what's in the comics. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Disney believes that not everything is riding on Doomsday. Like, even if things, go badly, they still got Secret Wars coming after that. But also interesting in this article is that all the other studios are kind of just already acknowledging this is going to be the biggest film of the year. Whatever you guys think about all that, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Every once in a while, a show comes around that I'm not really interested in, but then I get a whole ton of people of our viewers telling me, John, you got to check out this show. That happened with the Harley Quinn animated show. I had no interest in that show. I didn't think it looked good. I didn't like the trailers. But after the first 2 episodes, everybody kept writing me, John, you got to watch it. John, you got to watch it. And I'm glad they did, because then I fell in love with the show. I love that show. It's happened with a few others. Another one of them was the anime series One Piece. Everybody told me, John, you've never watched One Piece. You got to watch One Piece. You got to watch One Piece. You'll love One Piece. And I didn't love it. I tried watching a bunch of the animated episodes, and I'm like, I could see the appeal, but it's not for me. It didn't catch me at all. Fast forward a little bit then, and Netflix puts out a live action series of One Piece. And I saw a trailer for it, and I thought, I'm at least curious to see how this is going to translate. And so I went and watched One Piece. And damn it if I didn't love it. I really enjoyed it. Like a lot. Like way more than the animated show, which I know is like sacrilege to say to a lot of people, but I'm just speaking the truth from my perspective. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. The dude who plays Monkey D. Luffy, he's so freaking charming. Like his on-camera charisma just carries it, man. Like I really enjoy it. And anyway, now we've got season 2 coming. And guess what? Ted Sarandos and the guys over there at Netflix seem to be kind of falling in love with theatrical a little bit. Because according to this new report in Variety, Netflix's One Piece season 2 is going to screen its first 2 episodes in 200 movie theaters. They wrote the following. Monkey D. Luffy and his pirate crew are sailing into more uncharted territories, movie theaters. Netflix will bring the first 2 episodes of One Piece Season 2 to select cinemas on March 10th, tied to its streaming release date. The theatrical screenings will take place in the US, Canada, and Japan, with the North American showing starting at 6 p.m. local time. And you know what? I think I'm going to go watch it.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm going to go watch it because, I really like the first season. Now, some people are comparing this a lot to what they just did with Stranger Things, but of course with Stranger Things, that was with the finale. They're kicking off the episodes. They're kicking off the new season with it. 2 things I wish they were doing differently. First thing is, I wish they were doing this prior to when it drops on streaming. Like, I wish they were doing this, see the first 2 episodes of, One Piece Season 2 a week before they arrive on Netflix. I kind of wish they were doing that, but they didn't do that with Stranger Things, and it seemed to work out well for them. So give credit where it's due, but I kind of wish they were doing that a little bit differently. Also, I would like to see them do it the first 3 episodes. Now, granted, if the first 2 episodes are an hour and 20 minutes each, then this makes sense.
Sure.
I would like to see them do it like the first 3 episodes, but that's fine. But again, we were talking about this before Rob got here today, Jonathan and I, and Jonathan brought up, it's like, it's like at some point in the last few months, like when they started to think about the possibilities of buying Warner Brothers, it's almost like, for those of you who are biblical scholars, it's almost like Ted Sarandos had his Saul, I should say, on his road to Damascus experience.
When he was blinded by the light.
He was blinded by the theatrical light.
Yes.
And it's ever since then, he's been like, maybe everybody was right all along, and there's a lot for us to gain here from the theatrical side of things. Anyway, I don't want to read too much into it. It is just 2 episodes, but clearly more and more frequently, we're starting to see, Rob, that Netflix is experimenting and doing more things with theatrical screens and stuff like this. Also might be a bit of an olive branch to the theatrical community, because, the theatrical community has been raising a lot of concerns. Even the folks at Cinema United, the trade industry of the movie theater organization, formerly known as NATO. By the way, how do you pronounce NATO?
NATO.
The NATO, they have been objecting loudly. And so something like this might actually just be, on top of the K-pop Demon Hunters thing, the Stranger Things finale. Now we've got this One Piece. It might also be seen as a bit of more of an olive branch as well. Anyway, Rob, you see that they're going to bring the first couple episodes of One Piece to it. I got to tell you one surprise, though, for me. I didn't think that many people watched it, the live action series. I never heard that nobody watched it. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't realize that enough people watched it to justify bringing it to theaters.
No, dude.
Whatever way, I'm glad about it. What do you think about all this?
Well, the first question, just from an industry perspective, is: are they selling tickets, or are they giving you buy for $20, you get your refreshments?
Food voucher. I
Yeah, it's
think
probably
this
a
is the
voucher.
tickets. I think they're doing a tickets thing.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're saying this is what they do. They're saying that screenings will take place in U.S. and Canada, Japan, North America. The American screenings will start at 6 p.m. local time. Tickets go on sale. As you can bring it up here, Jonathan.
Oh.
Tickets go on sale February 20th. That's tomorrow. Tickets will go on sale tomorrow at 11 p.m. Doesn't say anything about ticket vouchers or anything. It's not going to go on the traditional.
I guess we'll
ticket
know
route.
for sure.
Yeah,
later, but-
I'm just curious, because if they are selling tickets and they don't say it's for refreshments or whatever, I'm curious about how does that work with the unions? You know, do they have to pay out some
They'll have to
kind of-
probably cough up some residuals.
I mean, very interesting. I don't know. But I think it's great that they're doing this because, look, first of all, this show's handsomely produced. It'll look great on the big screen. And for the people that are fans of the show, let them go see it in the theater. Look, I don't care what anyone says. If you have a great theater with great projection, there's nothing better than to sit in the sensory deprivation tank that is a great theater. The lights go down, you're with a bunch of strangers, and you're watching a movie. Nothing distracts you. I've always believed, and I don't know what the psychological reality of this is, but I always remember a movie far more if I'm sitting in a theater watching it.
100%.
You know, because you're not paying attention. I mean, you're not even thinking about anything else. And I don't drift off when I'm watching a film in a theater. And so I'm sure it's a much even better experience than it is watching it at home.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Netflix continues to go more and more to the movie screens. They're going to debut the first 2 episodes of One Piece Season 2 in movie theaters on the same day it drops on Netflix. Do you think this is like an olive branch to the movie theaters? Do you think this is more of Saul's conversion to Paul and Ted Sarandos becoming more and more of a fan of movie theaters? Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? Under the category of idiot bonehead moves, about a year or 2 ago, AMC Theaters, under the direction of their Einstein CEO, Adam Aron, decided, you know what people will love? You know what the people want? They want us to charge more for better seats in our movie theaters. Yeah, that's what people want. And AMC, the Idiot Brigade, they led the way by they announced they're going to, like, depending on where you picked your seat, you're going to have to pay more money. That went over like a lead balloon. And they quickly and wisely, give credit where it's due, decided to back off that absolutely moronic idea. Fire who was ever in the room that came up with that bullshit. Anyway. Fast forward now to today, and it looks like on their surface that they're going to try it again, in a way. As the Wrap is running the headline, AMC Theaters to reserve the best seats for the premium loyalty program members. It writes this: if you're a member of AMC's paid subscription loyalty programs, and there are a couple, you'll soon get another perk. The opportunity to reserve the best seats in the movie theater before anybody else. On the theater chain's earnings call on Tuesday, CEO Captain Admiral Adam Aron said that later this year, AMC will add a new perk for the A-List and Premier Stubs members, as they will get priority access to seats and the chain will, quote unquote, block and reserve it for them. This perk comes at no additional charge and will join other perks for Premier and A-List members, most notably the ability to watch 4 movies per week in any format for A-List members. The A-List membership is available for $27.99 a month, while the Premier membership, which does not have the 4 movies per week included, is available for $18.99 a month. I actually have to correct them on that. It is not $18.99 a month for the Premier membership. It is $18.99 for the year. The little fact check that. It is not $18.99 a month. Why would you get Premiere for $18.99 a month if you don't get any free movies? All right. My first reaction to reading this was, oh my God, here we go again. But I'm not so sure I dislike this. Look, hear me out. I'm not saying this is a great idea, but I'm not necessarily saying this is as bad as it might look on its face value. This is coming from somebody who's often very critical of AMC. The best thing in movie going right now is AMC A-List. I've always given credit for that. AMC A-List, for less than the price of two movies, you get 16 movies a month. Not having to pay any upcharge for 3D, their XL screens, IMAX, of course, the Dolby Prime theaters, never have to pay any upcharge for it. For less than the cost of two movies a month, you get 16. It's a great program. It really is. I've always given it its flowers and I always will. I am a very happy and satisfied member of it. To give perks, additional perks, to people who have those memberships, to people who are paying you extra every month, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And the other potential upside to it is that maybe this becomes even more incentive for an average moviegoer who is wasting unnecessary money every month by not having A-List. Maybe becomes another little incentive to actually get A-List. Which, if A-List was a rip-off program, I would be complaining that they're trying to hurdle people or funnel people into this pay. But it's actually a really great program that I know for me personally saves me an ass ton of money every month. So look, I need to think about it more, but I think I've moved off my initial recoil, Rob, hearing about this, because it just feels too much like this premium upcharges kind of thing. It's not really that. And this actually might not be that bad of an idea. I don't know that it'll catch on. I really don't. I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 months we hear that they're canceling this. And what happens? Do they hold those premium seats right up to 5 minutes before showtime? And if no A-list, like when do they become available to everybody else?
We don't know the time frame of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. If I'm an A-list member, which I am, do I only have access to that perk if I book my tickets at least 1 week in advance? Which, by the way, wouldn't be a bad thing.
No.
But I gotta say, Rob, as somebody who is as critical of AMC as I am, I always give credit where it's due. And this might not be that bad of an idea, at least to what it looks like on its surface. I don't know. You read about this. What do you think about it?
I mean, on the surface, it seems okay. But practically, I'm like, obviously, when you look at a movie theater and you look at how many tickets are sold, it shows you where the tickets have been purchased.
Yes.
So you know, I guess those would be called the premium seats. Those are the first to go, so they know that. But what's going to happen, like you said, are they going to release the premium seats like a day in advance? Because if not, it would really bother me if I wanted to go see a movie, if I just decide to go see a movie and half the premium seats are not available because they're for A-list members. So I don't get to sit there if I have to be a member. But I mean, I'm not a member of A-list because I don't have an AMC close to my house.
So you're not going anyway.
Well, but no,
Yeah,
but if I was, like, I'm a Regent Regal member, but so if they're not going to make those seats available to the general population, I could see that becoming kind of annoying. Like if you go to the movie theater and you want to go, so I guess they would have to release the seats. I mean, I don't think it's a bad perk to know that you're always going to be able to get great seats, but is that going to mean that if I decide to go see Hail Mary again opening weekend, that I'm just going to have a group of seats that I'm always going to be able to sit in because they're the premium seats, because the Flotsam and Jetsam won't be able to buy them? That seems like could end up being a waste of great seats if they're not spoken for. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling it's probably within like 24 to 48 hours of a movie going on sale.
Well, I mean, look, I think the details is what's going to determine whether this is a good move or not. So detail number one, how many seats are you reserving? Is it 10% of the seats? Is it 50% of the seats? So that's going to be a key thing. Second thing is, to Jonathan's point, how long are you holding them for? Like, is an A-list member going to have like, hey, you've got up till 1 week before showtime to book it. After that, they open it up. Or is it like right up until showtime? That will determine a lot about whether this is a good idea or not. And by the way, somewhere lost in this conversation is a bigger philosophical question. What are the best seats?
Right.
We talked about this before the show. Although you would think it's like the dead center, I don't typically grab those.
Neither do I.
I like to be a little further back, and I have a little more leg room, and I don't want to have to, if I have to get up to the restroom, I don't want to cross through 20 pairs of legs. So, but for most people that are going to be diehard, they want to be in the center.
Like my favorite seat in a normal showing, in a normal theater, my favorite seat, you know, you've got the first 3 or 4 rows, then the walkway, and then the main section of seating. I like to sit in the second row of the main section of seating behind one of the wheelchair sections, because 95% of the time nobody's there and I get to stretch my legs out. Mm-hmm. That won't be one of the premium seats.
Right.
It's different for IMAX. In IMAX, you do want to be a little bit more center middle. So look, this becomes a good idea if the number of seats being reserved are 10 to 20%, and if they're only reserved until about a week out. Because I think the average film goer, if they're going to check on Tuesday night tickets for Thursday, those tickets should be available to them if the A-list members have not booked them up already. So if you limit the number of seats and you have a specific time frame that you have to have them by, like before 1 week before the thing, I think this just becomes a nice little perk for people who pay to have the memberships. And by the way, you should have one of these memberships if you live anywhere near an AMC. You absolutely should. You're burning money if you don't. But to Rob's point, if it's like 50% of the seats and they hold those seats until like 1 day before the showtime, then this is a stupid idea.
Yeah, stupid.
And so we'll really have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? AMC is looking at adding some additional perks to people who are members of their loyalty programs. But it all really depends on how they're going to execute it. What do you think would be the best way for them to approach it? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. We still have a couple of things we need to go into in depth, including all that we heard from Josh Gad and a friend of mine who saw Project Hail Mary. But now the critics have seen Project Hail Mary and their first reviews are out. And they're basically saying this is our first Best Picture contender of the year. We're going to talk about all the reactions coming out of Project Hail Mary. Also, Mortal Kombat 2 just dropped a new trailer. I'm stunned.
Academy Award nominee.
We'll talk
about our second Academy Award.
Second leading contender for Academy. We're going to talk about those things and a couple things more when we come back. But first, there are a number of other issues in the world of movies and entertainment and streaming that we just don't have time to go into in depth, but we want to make sure you guys are caught up to speed. So this is a little segment we call In Other News. First up, the legendary Jared Harris has officially joined the cast of Martin Scorsese's upcoming psychological thriller, What Happens at Night. Harris joins an already stacked cast, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and Mads Mikkelsen. Based on Peter Cameron's novel, the film follows an American couple traveling to a snowy European town to adopt a baby, only to find themselves trapped in a surreal, dreamlike hotel where reality starts to slip away. Sounds a little bit like another Scorsese DiCaprio film I know. Anyway, production has officially kicked off in Prague, and with Apple Original Films backing it, it's easily one of the most anticipated movies of 2026. Next up, director Mike Flanagan has responded to the online uproar regarding his upcoming remake of The Mist. Flanagan clarified on social media that his project is definitely not a retread or a direct remake of Frank Darabont's 2007 classic. He expressed deep admiration for the previous film and stated that his version will take a different direction from page one, likely focusing on unexplored elements from Stephen King's original novella. He's promising something fresh rather than just repeating what we've already seen. But look, at this point, I think most of us can agree to just let Flanagan do whatever he wants. He's one of the hottest names in the business right now for good reason, because you got titles like Dr. Sleep, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, The Haunting of Hill House, all on his resume. Next up, For the gamers in the house, we finally have a date for one of the biggest PS5 exclusives ever. Now, Wolverine's name is on everyone's mind right now with the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine, and all of us anxiously awaiting to learn who the new Wolverine will be in the MCU. Insomniac Games has confirmed that Marvel's Wolverine, the game, will officially launch on September 15th, 2026. The story reveals that Logan will be a dark global thriller. We're expecting a deep dive into the gameplay sometime this spring, but the confirmed date ends months of speculation. The game promises brutal combat and a story that digs into Logan's mysterious past, and it's already being hailed as the quote-unquote standard for superhero gaming in the current generation. Next up, the Taylor Sheridan universe is expanding in a big way, but with a new look. The Samuel L. Jackson-led Tulsa King spin-off has undergone a major creative overhaul and a name change. Originally, the spin-off was going to be titled Nola King. It is now officially Frisco King, as reported by Joe Blow. The setting has moved from New Orleans to Frisco, Texas, and in a massive show of confidence, Taylor Sheridan himself is stepping in to write all 8 episodes of the first season. Now, Samuel L. Jackson will star as Russell Lee Washington Jr., a character introduced in the main series, and production is set to begin this March in Fort Worth. It looks like Paramount Plus is going all in on this expansion before Taylor Sheridan leaves Paramount for his new deal with NBC Universal. Next up, in a bit of a bummer for Suits fans like me, Stephen Amell has opened up about why the spin-off, Suits LA, was ultimately canceled. Amell took personal responsibility for the show's failure, stating that it simply wasn't good enough to resonate with the audience. He explained that his character, Ted Black, didn't quite click the way it needed to, and that there were creative differences between the show's creator and the network's vision. NBC decided to pull the plug before the first season even finished airing, proving that even a massive franchise name isn't a guaranteed ticket to success. And this sucks too, because I love Suits and I love Stephen Amell, but yeah, this show was kind of terrible. And finally, rumors are swirling that Cruella 2 is officially back in development, with Emma Stone set to return as the stylish villain. Reports suggest that the project is picking up steam after a period of quote-unquote radio silence. Now, director Craig Gillespie and writer Tony McNamara are also expected to return for a story that might even take a bit of a musical turn or follow a dual timeline structure similar to that done in Godfather Part 2. Now, while a release date hasn't been set, the buzz is that filming could begin sooner rather than later, making it possible that it could even shoot sometime this year in 2026 or possibly in 2027. And that'll do it for In Other News. And that wraps up all the other stories going on in the world of entertainment. We hope you guys enjoy our little segment called In Other News. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of my most anticipated films of the year coming up is, of course, Project Hail Mary. I have been dying to watch this ever since they showed us the first things I've ever saw of it. Before I read the books or anything like that, the book, they gave us a presentation for it at CinemaCon, and my jaw dropped in my lap. I couldn't believe how incredible this damn thing looked. And I've been counting down the days ever since CinemaCon last year to get to this thing. And now going to go see it on the 13th. Really excited about it. Now, the other day, we discussed on the show about how Josh Gad saw it, and he called it a masterpiece and all that kind of stuff. And he's not in the film, just so you know. And a friend of mine, a producer in the business, saw it and was like, John, this movie's everything you wanted it to be. So that was really exciting. Well, now all the critics are actually chiming in. The first press screenings for Project Hail Mary have happened, and the critics are now chiming in, and it's basically universally accepted. This is going to be a Best Picture contender. People seem to love it. This comes to us, of course, from Clayton Davis, who writes, Phil Lord and Chris Miller's Project Hail Mary is the iconic duo's finest hour. It's their E.T. the Extraterrestrial, a family-friendly, high-concept crowd pleaser with real blockbuster upside. Ryan Gosling and Sandra Hüller are standouts of the, by the way, she's key to this movie, man.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be absolutely key. Are out of this world, owning every frame, adored. Drew Taylor, many of you know, wrote, Project Hail Mary is profound and profoundly moving. An absolute masterpiece of hope and humanity. It's also insanely entertaining, funny, thrilling, surprising, and hopeful. As cheesy as it is to say, We need this movie right now. Well, we do. And I'm so thankful it's here. My buddy Todd Gilchrist writes, it's a Project Hail Mary is pretty fantastic. Smart without being didactic, cute without being cloying, inspiring without stooping to empty platitudes. Daniel Pemberton's score is an all-timer, dispositionally an anti-Interstellar, inviting the audience to enjoy the ride. Mama's Geeky wrote, Project Hail Mary is phenomenal. This movie is a masterpiece. It is way funnier than I expected it to be. It never feels its runtime, and it is truly heartwarming. I laughed, I cried, and I fell in love with Rocky. Everybody's going to fall in love with Rocky. Ryan Gosling is one of the best working today. Wow. Junior Felix wrote, Lord and Miller have created a masterpiece with Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling gives a career-defining performance that will go down in history. Fans of the book should be ecstatic. Watch in IMAX to experience some of the most stunning outer space sequences ever. Incredible. Our friend Jermaine Lucier writes, Project Hail Mary is pure joy, hilarious, heartfelt, hugely moving, wildly exciting, and absolutely beautiful. The 160 minutes go by in an instant as Lord and Miller keep Weir's narrative moving like a rocket ship. Gosling is better than ever, and the Rocky effect, and it probably meant is, mind-blowing. Scott Menzel decided to write an essay. He liked it. We'll just leave it at that. Edgar Wright, one of our favorite directors, went to go see it. He said, I was lucky enough to see Project Hail Mary on a towering IMAX screen last night, a long overdue big screen, live action return for Lord and Miller. It's dazzling, but very human epic. The level of detail in every aspect of the production was awe-inspiring, not least the puppetry. I also had warm and fuzzy comparisons to 1970s monastic classics like Silent Running and Dark Star, which is high praise indeed. Drew Goddard delivers, the same guy who wrote the screenplay for The Martian, by the way. Drew Goddard delivers an excellent screenplay. Greg Fraser's work is gorgeous. Gosling is endlessly magnetic, and Sandra Hüller gets to show her Tony Erdmann chops again. I'm not quite sure what that one's a reference to. It made my head spin thinking about how complicated it would be to make, but saving the universe is no easy task. Go see it. Huge. One of the most foundational guys in the industry, Gregory Elwood, wrote, Ryan Gosling is utterly fantastic in Project Hail Mary. Movie also has some incredibly directed sequences that will make you gasp. It peaks emotionally a bit earlier than you'd expect and has an extra ending it might not need, but will be a lot of viewers' favorite movie for years. By the way, I made a bet with you about something that I think they're going to do at the end of the movie. I'm thinking it's sounding like they do it. But anyway, we'll go on here. Eric Marchand wrote, Project Hail Mary, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller must-see Space Odyssey blasts off as the first great blockbuster of 2026. Out-of-this-world cinematography from Greg Fraser reaches for the stars while anchored by a stellar Ryan Gosling performance. This movie rocks. The guy who financed the movie, Jeff Bezos, what is he going to say about his own movie? Well,
this is cooler than my rocket ships.
This is better than my flying penis. Project Hail Mary is outstanding. Good to know, Jeff. Thanks for the input. Our friend Scott Vance.
Just move on.
It's incredible. It's incredible. By the way, Scott didn't like Superman, so I was curious. I was curious to know what he would think about this. But Scott writes, absolutely loved Project Hail Mary, an awe-inspiring and sublimely beautiful masterpiece. Everything we go to the movies for, loaded with heart, humor, excitement, and a deeply moving story. Brilliantly directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Magnificent performances by Ryan Gosling. And we could read Brandon Davis, Project Hail Mary is the best movie I've seen this year, masterpiece. We could go on. It just goes on. The worst review, I'm not kidding, out of all the things I went to and looked at, the worst review I read was, it doesn't quite live up to all the potential of the book, and it's got too many endings, but that doesn't take away that this movie is absolutely delightful.
And they say the same thing about Return of the King.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the worst thing that I read. Absolute worst.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who know the book, I'm going to speak in code here, so only those of you who've read the book will understand what I'm saying. After I finally read the book, I think I was driving cross country when I listened to the book, and I called Rob and I said, okay, the ending, I think they're going to change the ending in the movie. And I think they're going to do this with the ending. And everything I'm reading, it sounds like that's what they did. And it makes me giddy thinking about it. But aside from that, Rob, from the moment they showed this presentation at CinemaCon a year ago, you were the first guy to say, this is going to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards.
Yep.
We're a year closer now. We're just 2 weeks away from seeing this thing in theaters. How are you feeling listening to all these reviews? And what are the things that are kind of some of the common threads throughout them that are standing out to you and really jumping out to you right now?
Well, I've said this a million times. When I got this book and I cracked it open, I'll never forget. I got the box from Amazon. I opened it up and I'm sitting at I sit at the corner of our little island in our kitchen and I have coffee or whatever. I'm sitting in my little perch and I just, like I do with a lot of books, I just opened up the first page and started reading. I did not get up until I was done with that book. People were buzzing around. Elizabeth would come in and go, don't you want to go sit on the couch or something? And I'm like, no, because the light in the kitchen's good anyway, so I can read. I read this book in one sitting, John. And it is seldom that a story, I mean, I've read 1,000 science fiction novels in my day. And a lot of science fiction writers would say, oh, this is such populist sci-fi. And I'm like, I don't care. It's the way, I read Dahlgren and I read A Mote in God's Eye. I read some rough going big science fiction novels. But this book, the story itself is so captivating. And when you're listening to it, you heard, it was so captivating to me, and the possibilities of it. It's apocalyptic but human. It's funny, but you're on the edge of your seat because anything could go wrong. This is a lightning in a bottle story. Now, once you begin with that, how do you turn that into a movie? A lot of movies have been messed up.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that they had Drew Goddard come and write the script, who also wrote the script for The Martian, another movie I absolutely adore, based on Andy Weir's first novel, and then Lord and Miller had something to prove. And I think that they went after this book and they got this. It was a mission for them. It was their road to Damascus, and Ryan Gosling, as I told you, I talked to his stylist, Mark, before he left, interviewed him you can see it on this channel. And even he was excited, but I told him, I said, I don't think you're as excited as you're going to be. Because this story, and when you have the people that understand it, and when we were at CinemaCon, because that's all I was like, I hope they show Project Hail Mary. That was the first thing that was at they didn't even say anything at the Amazon MGM presentation. The lights just came down and they showed us like 8 minutes of this. And I was practically weeping with joy. I'm like, man, they stuck this landing. They nailed this. And if you are a fan of science fiction, fantasy, if you're an imagination connoisseur, this is the stuff. This is why I love Star Trek. This is why I love For All Mankind. This is why I love 2001. This is going to be, in 100 years from now, when people are looking at the stone classics of science fiction cinema, this is going to be in the top 5 of all time.
I'm thinking too, we kind of made a little bit of a reference to this. I don't know if it'll be on the same scale. Rocky is going to be the new Baby Yoda. Like and that's what I was kind of curious to hear from a lot of people about. How does Rocky come across? Because in the book, like my wife, when listening, because my second time through the book and listened to it for the first time, like almost everything that had to do with Rocky, she was either in tears from laughing or in tears emotionally, like through the whole thing. Like everybody loves Rocky. Fist my bump. Like he's just the best. He's the best. And I think depending on how it executes, or I've been curious to see how it executes, that, people are going to absolutely love Rocky. And it sounds like it works. So I think he's going to, look, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'll reserve judgment, but I kind of think he's going to be the next Baby Yoda. I think everybody's going to be getting their Rocky plush toys, their Rocky 7-inch figures or 1/6 figures, whatever. I think he's going to be a really, really huge thing.
Plus, what's really great about what I really love about in the book, he's a very alien creature. He's not like a humanoid, obviously.
Which is big ears. No,
Yeah.
he's very alien.
He's very alien, but he's intelligent. He's a scientist. He's an engineer. And to see such an alien creature portrayed in this way, I think is a great thing to see. And it's not easy to do. And it sounds like they've really nailed it. And I love that they made the choice to do it practically instead of doing a CG creation, because no matter how good CG is,
it still looks incredible. The movements it's making in practical is
incredible.
crazy.
By the way, I have no doubt, like, knowing the book, there are going to be some sequences, like, yeah, they had a Yoda puppet, but they had to do CGI Yoda. There's definitely going to be scenes where they have to CGI Rocky. Like, 100% there's going to have to be.
Probably.
And that's fine, as long as it works. I think it's going to be great. I cannot express how excited I can't remember. It's been a bit since I've been this, like, I'm probably Superman, that I've been this really stoked about getting to the theater to watch a movie. And I think I may be even more excited to watch this than I was for Superman. I think I am. That's how stoked I am for this. And we still got 2 weeks to go.
I just can't. I was just thinking while you guys were speaking, it's like this year for me, we're getting 4 incredible movies, probably Odyssey, this, Doomsday, and Doom 3. Below that would probably be Supergirl and Spider-Man, but it's like those 4 alone to sustain my excitement through the year.
This is going to be really, look, all due respect to everything that's come out already, and I'm going to go see Scream tomorrow night, and, I'm curious about watching Scream, and all due respect to everything else, but for me, 2026 starts on March 13th. That's when 2026, the movie year, starts for me, is March 16th when this comes, because, like, as Jonathan's alluded to, this is as we've talked about a lot, this is a packed year, man. Yeah. I can't remember the last time we had this many high profile, big films that I'm super excited about, almost all of them coming out. And it all kicks off with Project Hail Mary. Guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? The first reviews for Project Hail Mary have come out, and they're all just they're not just glowing. They're all using the term masterpiece. They're all saying, like, this is the first big Best Picture contender for the year. On and on and on. I cannot wait to watch this thing. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that all down, let's move on to this. It was with a lot of excitement a couple years ago that the new Mortal Kombat movie came out, and it sucked. I'm sorry, it was terrible. And I say this as somebody who has look, the original live action Mortal Kombat movie is also not a masterpiece, but it's got a special place in my heart. It was damn fun. That's all I was looking for from the new Mortal Kombat, and it just stunk the place up. Look, it had its moments. It absolutely did. Everything involving Scorpion was amazing. There was some good stuff in there, 100%. Like, he kills a guy with his own frozen blood spike. How good does that get? But overall, the movie kind of sucked. So then they announced that they were doing a sequel. And I was like, should you? Should you do a sequel to that Mortal Kombat?
Just because you can.
And then it doesn't mean you should. You're always about the coulda, never about the shoulda. But then they announced that Carl Urban was going to come to play Johnny Cage. You put Carl Urban in anything, I'll be excited. Some people, though, were a little hesitant, saying, isn't he a bit old to play Johnny Cage? Fair enough. Then that first trailer came out. And I'm like, it was pretty good. That first trailer was pretty good. And we were like, wow, this looks fun. This looks really fun. So today they drop a new trailer. The newest trailer. And I'm going to say this. With this new trailer, this doesn't just look like a good Mortal Kombat movie. Rob, this looks like a really good movie. And like, look, for a lot of these IP films, you just want it to kind of be true to the IP and just give me the fun of the IP, right? You don't ask too much of it. But I'm telling you, if you took the Mortal Kombat out of it, this looks like kind of a fun adventure sci-fi movie. This looks like a good movie. And you know what? All of a sudden, this trailer, they don't say it explicitly, but now you kind of get Carl Urban playing the role. You just get the implication, the implied message that he's an aging star. He's like, this is the guy who used to be Johnny Cage, sort of thing. And now his age totally makes sense in it. First of all, visually, it looked way better than I thought it was going to look. Looks way better than I thought it was going to look. This thing takes a dump all over that first Mortal Kombat movie. I've gone from going, why the hell are you making a second Mortal Kombat movie, to, oh my God, not Project Hail Mary levels, but oh my God, I cannot wait to see this. This looks damn fun. Somebody just said in the live chat, I think it was Vicus in the live chat, just said, it gave me Galaxy Quest vibes. You know what? You're not wrong. It's a little bit of Galaxy Quest vibe to it as well.
I kind of felt a little bit of the Honor Among Thieves.
A little bit of that. And you know what? I'm kind of feeling the way I was about the original Mortal Kombat movie again. I'm actually really excited. That's the power of a trailer. Rob, I always say the job of a trailer, the only job of a trailer, is to take your enthusiasm level, no matter how high it already is or how low it is, and just bump it up a bit. Bump up your enthusiasm for it, whether it's low or high. This trailer delivered in spades. Absolute spades. Because it has taken me from at least getting interested in this movie, because last trailer to like, damn, I now, wow, I want to go see this. I want to go see this right now. And I think this is going to be a load of a fun of a movie. Then again, I was pretty enthusiastic going into the last one, and we all saw how that turned out. But anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer for this. Could have used maybe a little bit more Hiroyuki Sanada in it. But other than that, what did you think about the new Mortal Kombat trailer?
Well, it made me feel something I felt 40 years ago, John. 40 years ago, 20th Century Fox, back when it was still 20th Century Fox, was promoting their big 3 summer releases, which were James Cameron's Aliens, David Cronenberg's The Fly, and John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China.
God.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, yes. 40th anniversary. This trailer made me think about Big Trouble in Little China, which is a very good thing. It had that, I love movies at scale. And when I say that, I means I can go and love a movie like Brian Bosworth in Stone Cold. And I don't have to justify it. It speaks for itself if you understand what you're watching. Is it Gone with the Wind? Is it Lawrence of Arabia? No. But Craig Baxley, who directed Stone Cold, set out to do something, and he nailed it. Lance Henriksen delivers an incredible performance. I look at this trailer, and I'm like, is this going to win Best Picture? No. But is it doing what it set out to do? It looks exactly like, look, I don't agree that you could just, as long as I see the IP in something, that's fine. No, you have the IP. What you want it to do is make you feel that when you're playing the game Mortal Kombat, that's the IP. And if a movie can make you feel like it feels to play Mortal Kombat, have that fun. When you hear fatality, like the sound effect of the guy, what does he say in the trailer?
Finish him.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear that, you're like, okay.
He also says, get over here.
Yeah, that's right. You're like, these people understood the assignment. And if you go in there and they take it seriously, and it looks like they're actually trying to, take it seriously, like it's not just a joke. And if they're approaching it, I think Masters of the Universe is going to do this too. They're approaching the material. It's going to stay true to the original IP, but they're going to deliver the goods. How much fun does this movie look?
I got a question, though. And guys in the live chat, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like when Scorpion does his immortal line, "Get over here." Yeah. It sounds like they just took the audio clip from the game.
It sounded like that to me.
And I actually find that a little off-putting, because it doesn't sound at all like Sonata. Like, you hear him talk in the movie. You see him. Shouldn't they have gotten Hiroyuki Sanada to do his own "get over here" to make it at least sound, because it doesn't even sound like it's him saying it. I mean, I get there's a nostalgia thing there.
Maybe only in the trailer.
You know what? Maybe you're right.
Could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
but that
you're right.
is not a deal breaker for me, John. I'm going to go see this movie.
Dude, I got to tell you what, too. One of the things we haven't mentioned is this is obviously a big departure from the last Mortal Kombat movie. like huge departure. And the very fact that they're putting all the focus and making Carl Urban carry this film, and it looks like he's going to carry the film, man. I cannot wait to hear his one-liners. I cannot wait to see the cockiness. And did you know he did all of his own stunts in this? No, I'm kidding. No, he did not. He absolutely did not. But man, wouldn't that have been cool if he was doing all those backflips? I think he's gonna be that last piece. I think he's gonna take this movie over the top. I really do. I think this is gonna be a true
there's a reason
Carl
why
Urban
he
vehicle.
did it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he agreed to star in Mortal Kombat 2. I mean, his agent, he's doing a great job on The Boys. His agent couldn't get him something better. It has to be that the material was good enough to attract him.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is going to be a real vehicle for him. I really do.
And if it's like Galaxy Quest, as somebody pointed out, that's perfect.
Yep.
Give me the
That's
Galaxy
the tone.
Quest of Mortal Kombat movies. I'm in.
By the way, Shao Kahn looks really good too.
Yeah.
Like he looks. I'm a little iffy on how he sounds, but he looks great. He looks really, really good. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, the one they dropped today? I thought it looked fantastic. I'm shocked. As somebody who was I admit, a big naysayer about this movie when they first announced it, new information brings new opinions. And I'm telling you, these trailers have won me over. I am officially won over. What about you guys? Jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that all down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we'll take a second and bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'm off to find Mao Yin with eyes of creamy jade.
That
Big
sounds
Trouble in Little China reference.
interesting. Are you old Jack Burton?
You know, when some 8-foot-tall monster has your favorite head up against a barroom wall and says,
for
"If you paid
3
your dues,
years,
Jack."
Remember for 3 years, The Rock was going to do a remake of that?
Yeah.
That was like in stone. For 3 years, they were going to do that, and then it just kind of fell apart at the last second.
I'm kind of glad.
Anyway.
But I would like to see Big Trouble in Little China.
See if they can do a remake. All right. Let's get over to your questions here, guys. Jonathan, what do we got up first?
Okay, Rudger Cole. Let me bring it up here. Oh, that's funny. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Little joke we like to play here. Rudger Cole said, you said you might not go see any Paramount movies in theaters, but you said you're seeing Scream 7. Did you change your mind on the decision?
I'm still going back and forth on it. I really am. No, I did cancel Paramount Plus, and I was not planning on going to see Scream 7. But as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, I'm going to go see Scream 7 tomorrow. It's just one of those things where it's like, look, I give myself permission. I gave myself this permission all the way back in the movie talk days. There used to be a time when I felt like, I had a responsibility to go see every movie. And I realized, you know what, I've been doing this long enough. I give myself permission to not go see every movie. That being said, it was one of those things where I kind of had to weigh. By the way, tomorrow is also my birthday. And I remember when I told Ann that, I got us tickets to go see Scream 7. She goes, you want to see Scream 7 on your birthday? Not really. But it was one of those things where I'm like, you know what? This is the biggest movie to come out for a few weeks. And, you know, if there had been let me rephrase that. If there had been 2 huge movies came out last week and 2 huge movies coming out next week, and I would give myself permission to skip Scream 7. I would. Because I really did like the one they did a couple of movies ago. I thought the one they did a couple of movies ago was actually pretty damn good. But I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the franchise either. But with nothing really big coming out last week, nothing really big coming out again really until Project Hail Mary, I kind of thought I really should go see it. And so we can talk about it on the channel. So yeah, that's one of those things where my damn, job responsibilities kind of got in the way of what I actually want to do. And that will happen from time to time. You got to pick and choose when to pick your spots. All right, what's next?
Comic Fan says, do you think Netflix will have 4 days to beat Paramount offer?
Well, first of all, understand this. They don't have to beat Paramount's offer. As of right now, look, here's what could happen. Paramount just submitted their best offer. Their best and final. Warner Brothers is now evaluating it. If, and only if, Warner Brothers decides that that's a better offer than Netflix's. They can officially designate it as the better offer, the preferred offer. If they do that, and they have not done that yet, at least as of the beginning of this show, if they do that, then yes, Netflix has 4 days to counter propose and match. But again, keep in mind that hasn't happened yet. The Warner Brothers board has not determined that the Paramount bid is the better bid. It's actually not the better bid, but I actually thought Warner Brothers Paramount should have come in with a better bid than this one. But, so we haven't crossed that bridge. Let's see what happens. All right, what's next?
Christopher says Kevin Williamson, he was the writer of Scream. First directed film was Teaching Mrs. Tingle. It had a troubled production after Columbine. It was re-edited and reshot to be less dark and violent, and the story was greatly changed in post.
Yeah, we addressed this yesterday. Somebody wrote in, and I forgot the title of the film, but I remembered everybody in it. That happens to me sometimes. Yesterday. And it was. I mean, I don't know the whole story behind it, and it's not like it's some big marquee film, and that was decades ago. But it's really interesting to see. Again, he's got a lot of experience with the franchise, and so it's going to be interesting to see him back in the director's chair again. Only his second time, so let's see how it goes.
We got John Redcorn. Will Spider Noir be part of the Sony reboot? I don't know. Seems like that's Elseworld.
I mean, I don't think this Spider-Man... Well, first of all, they never crossed over any of their Spider-Verse live-action movies.
Yeah,
Venom never popped up in Madam Web. Madam Web never popped up in Morbius. Morbius never popped up in Craven, anything like that. And you've got Spider-Man Noir on Amazon. So, I mean, I honestly don't know. But we'll have to see which way they want to go for it. Listen, if it's really successful, they could do another version of Spider-Man Noir and go live-action movie with it. Who knows? Everything's on the table right now. All right, what's next?
Jay Valance says, John, you say movies are experiential. For Project Hail Mary, I got IMAX on March 13th and 14th, plus Amazon March 16th. Got to see it early with my people. It is time go.
Dude, my entire internal clock is nothing but a countdown to March 13th right now when I get to see it for the first time. Actually, Rob and I are going to the same screening.
Are you?
Yeah. So I think me, and I think we're all going to go grab dinner first and then go watch it. I'm really, really stoked about it. I cannot wait. And listen, just listening to the book was a roller coaster emotional experience. Just the book. I cannot wait for this movie, dude. So I will be in there on all those dates as well. All right, what's next?
We got Real Writer. Hey, John, big fan. Where would you say The Legend of Zelda falls on your most anticipated list of... He says 26, but I think he meant 27. For me, it's my most anticipated. I can't wait. Or I just bummed you out that it's a year later.
Actually, let me just double check that because I think you're right. When does the live action Zelda movie come out? You're right. I think it is 2027, but let me just verify that. Yeah, it comes out in March of 2027. So it ranks nowhere on my 2026 list. Listen, it's hard to say at this point because all we have literally seen of this movie are the still shots of the two lead characters. And by the way, they look good. Like the production shot of the guy playing Link and the girl playing Zelda, they look good. But I mean, we really don't know anything else. Look, I said from the beginning that doing a Zelda movie is the closest thing you can do to doing another Mario movie because nothing else Nintendo has is that big. And that live action was the way to go. And they're doing it. It could be epic. So I can't say it ranks super high on my anticipated list right now because right now I don't know anything about it. Ask me again once they drop, probably around November of 2026 this year. Around November this year when they probably in October, November drop the first trailer. Then let's have that discussion. But I am very, very interested in the film for sure. All right, what's next?
We got Jason who says from a previous comment, someone said they wish The Martian had won Best Picture instead of The Revenant, but The Revenant did not win Best Picture at the Oscars. It was Spotlight. That's right.
Oh, that's right. Spotlight won that year.
Inarritu won Best Director for Revenant.
I didn't even think about it because the person just wrote in the question, Brendan. So I just kind of went with it because, of course, Leo did win. Leo won. It won a bunch of others.
And Inarritu got Best Director.
Best Director. But you're
But
right.
Spotlight
It was Spotlight that won that year. You know, that's got to be right up there with one of the most forgotten Best Picture winners ever. And that's a great movie.
It was a really good movie.
It's an enthralling movie that you just get like glued to the screen every single. I love that movie, but you're absolutely right. It was Spotlight that year. All right, what's next?
Attack of the Mushi, finished project Hail Mary. Like the ending.
Listen, the ending is very good. And again, if you know the book, a lot of people love the ending, but I said to Rob, again, only those of you who read the book know what I'm talking about. I think they're going to change the ending or at least add something after the ending. And we'll talk about that. By the way, I should mention, last night we did a movie club of The Martian. Next Tuesday, we're going to do a kind of a special movie club for Project Hail Mary. And it's really going to be for everybody who's read the book. We're going to talk about all the things that happen in the book and how we see that translating into the movie. What will make it into the movie, what won't make it into the movie. There's always adaptations. So what things are they going to change from the book into the movie? So that's going to be next Tuesday night. If you want to join us for that discussion, make sure you go read Project Hail Mary this week or get the audiobook and listen to it this week. And make sure you join us for that conversation on Tuesday. All right, what's next?
Got the Black Batman with a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you, man.
Says, yo, John and crew, longtime fan with the MCU so close to the mutant saga. What are the odds us fans get, hear me out, as a threat before the saga's big bad, WWH for our X-Men?
Guys, you cannot talk.
I don't know what
You can't talk in acronyms.
you were so close, and then if someone knows in the what WWH is.
I plead with you guys all the time. Please do not write in acronyms because my mind is thinking about 50 other questions that have come in and but thank you for supporting us at that level. I wish I could answer it, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, maybe World War Hulk.
Oh, World War Hulk.
Thank you, Pasta Sauce.
Zero chance. They should do World War Hulk, but it's so big and so but right now they can't do it. You can't do any movie called Hulk because then it belongs to Universal. So they can't do it. All right, what's next?
We get this a lot. Knowing what you know about Doomsday, what movies besides Avengers series are good to rewatch. Also, who dies in Doomsday? Just kidding. Love the show.
All right, I'll stick with the same thing. Look, you should watch all the MCU because it's great. Most of it. I would say if you were committing yourself, I want to watch at least 3. What are the 3 that I should watch? Okay, then I would say Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. Those are like, if you wanted to say like, just give me 3 that I should watch before Doomsday, I would say Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. I think you can probably just walk into this movie cold, and I don't think you're going to feel lost. But there will be more nuance you'll appreciate and catch if you do know some of the backstory of the MCU. And so those would be the 3 I would recommend. All right, what's next?
We got Hector Reyes. Thoughts on the Puerto Rico movie announcement? Cast looks like it's made up with some heavy hitters. Also, Bad Bunny's first leading role.
Don't really know anything about it.
I don't either. Just the announcement.
Other than the fact that they announced it. Look, I remember Bad Bunny was supposed to be the lead in the Sony Spider-Verse film El Muerto, and that kind of got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw him in Bullet Train, and he was really fun in Bullet Train. He really was. But he didn't have to do any acting. I'm not a big fan of getting non-actors and giving them lead roles in narrative movies. I'm not a big fan of it. And listen, I thought Bad Bunny brought the house down at the Super Bowl. And Ann and I went to a Bad Bunny concert last year in Las Vegas. It was awesome. I didn't understand a damn word that was said all night, but I had a great time. That concert thumped. It was great. So all due respect to Bad Bunny, but that dude's not an actor. I don't know why I would feel excited about any non-actor getting a lead role in a movie. But, that doesn't mean it's not possible and that it can't work out. So
he could become, look at Bette Midler. She was a singer before she was ever an actress. And so it could happen. It
happened over time.
Yes,
man.
yes.
Like the only thing I've seen Bad Bunny in is that little part he had in Bullet Train where he didn't even have to act much. Although he was very fun in it, but he didn't have to act much. So
Oh.
I can't pretend like I'm going to be
And
excited for
he
it.
had a small role in the what was that movie that just came out recently with guy who played Elvis, and he's like, what's his name? He's like a punk, and he has a
The
mohawk.
Matt Smith movie he did with them. Oh my God. That's
Caught Stealing.
right.
He had a small role in
I
Caught Stealing.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, but again, small role, not
Yeah.
leading man. You know.
Yeah, so I'm not going to pretend to be excited about it. I'm not. But again, that doesn't mean I'm just not discounting the fact that maybe it turns out well. All right, what's next?
Christopher says, new Mortal Kombat 2 trailer made fans ask again, if you wanted a normal person's point of view to start the series, why not use Johnny Cage the first time?
Well, I mean, Johnny Cage is an iconic character, and you can't really put him in that category. Look, they made so many mistakes. With that first one, not the least being, you've got this IP filled with iconic characters. Let's lead the movie with a new one that nobody knows. That was such a dumb decision. So dumb. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Anthony says, hey guys, I think you missed my question yesterday. Curious, any interest in CIA with Tom Ellis? I know you want him to branch out after Lucifer.
Go watch again. We did answer it yesterday.
We answered that for sure.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever had a Freudian slip on
Where's
something's
the
name before.
Funky Bunch?
Eric Wahlberg says, Doomsday checks all the boxes, an epic action-packed event, movie-packed with beloved characters, new and old, makes $2 billion easily. Nothing's easy for $2 billion.
No, there's never been any such thing as a movie that makes $2 billion easily.
It's a good time to be a fan. Also, John, who dies in the movie?
Okay, look, there's still, as enthusiastic and as excited as I am about Doomsday, there are still two truths you cannot get around. Number one, the MCU is not as trusted today as it was when Endgame came out. It's just not. It's not. They don't have the same momentum. They don't have the same hype. They don't have the same buzz. They've just gone through 6, almost 7 years of hit and miss. They're just not in the same place that they used to be. Because when Endgame came out, I mean, they were at their peak. They were at their zenith. And the second thing you cannot get around is that there are fewer people going to the movies today. This is just a statistical fact. There are fewer people going to the movies today than there were in 2019 when Endgame came out. Just a fact. So if you really understand those two principles, you cannot say that Doomsday makes $2 billion easily. Now, I think it will. I've been persuaded that I think it can, and I think it will, but I think it's folly to say it's just going to make $2 billion easy. No, it ain't going to be easy. Because now, can that then start changing things? And you know what? There is another factor, Jonathan, that maybe I don't take into consideration enough. You know, in movies, it is true that a rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
Like when people go to the movies and they have a great time, they are statistically proven
To return.
that they are more likely to now come back to the movie theater again for another movie. If you go to a movie and see a movie that sucks, they are less likely to come back to the movie theater. If a person goes to the movies and sees a great entertaining movie, they are statistically more likely to come back sooner to see another movie.
I've witnessed proof of that in the lobbies. The
Oh, yeah.
people come out happy like, oh, we got to see that next.
Now we
I've
got to
heard
see
them
this,
say
right?
that.
And maybe I'm not taking into consideration enough the fact that this year looks like it's filled with a lot of bangers. And if that works out,
Ramps.
those could ramp up to the end of the year when Doomsday happens.
Doesn't even have to be Spider-Man. It could be the other movie.
Yeah, it can be any of the other films. So you know what? I had a really fun time watching that movie. When can we do this again? So it maybe the rest of the film slate from all the other studios actually inadvertently kind of helps Doomsday as well. I still hold that it is folly to say that it's going to make $2 billion easy. No, that's nonsense. I think it will, but to say it's going to be easy is kind of crazy. All right, what's next?
Mr. I. Hey, John, don't know if you've seen it, but Eric Voss at New Rockstars is doing a Road to Doomsday series. Today was Incredible Hulk. He made a big emphasis on pointing you out and showing your scene.
I love Eric.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that he used that.
I didn't either. I love Eric Voss, by the way. I love the guys in New Rockstars. And I've never talked to them.
I've never met Eric, or any of the guys.
I've never met them. I've never talked to them. I think they and we have some of the same representation. I think.
Yeah. You would have thought at some point they would have come into like the AMC or Collider studios at some point with all the cross cohabitation we had with all that.
Were they as big then when we were back in our movie talk days?
When we were still with Collider and you were still at Collider, they were getting pretty good traction.
They're great.
Yeah, but that goes back
really like
over a
those guys.
decade.
Yeah, they make great videos, and I really like their stuff. All right, what's next?
We got, who is it? Carlos, there's a singing scene in the latest episode of Shrinking, and I loved it. This show would be one of the rare cases I think a musical episode would fit.
I have not seen the newest episode of Shrinking. Because officially I think Shrinking comes out on Wednesdays, but they keep dropping the episodes on Tuesdays. So I totally forgot about it. Oh, I can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to watch it. Best show on TV right now. Okay, anyway. Yes, it's better. It's better than A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's a very, very different kind of show, but I love Shrinking so much. All right, what's next?
Let's see. Vika says hi. Sent a couple days back about a post-retirement. John will make documentaries, write books, and direct.
I might write another book. I don't think I will make. Well, no. I take that back. I'm not going to direct anymore. Like that me directing, that's something
like narrative, you mean? Like a narrative story?
Yeah, or even a documentary. I don't think I'm going to direct anymore. I've got the bug out and all that kind of stuff. Now, what I can see me doing is doing more producing. I think that is something about a year or so ago I realized that's what I really kind of want to do next is just produce. I want to work with a director. I want to work with somebody who's got an idea and help them, bring it to life. So I think maybe more producing, but I don't know for sure. We'll see.
Okay, we got our final 5 here, not counting the support, but we got some support from Dean Talks Movies.
Thanks, Dean.
Draven says, when I see a movie, I prefer being dead center, screen, vertical, horizontal. I did the math, nerd, he says. And my Cinemark XD seat is L13.
L13.
Sound centers 2.5 feet in front of me when I'm in that seat. I mean, it's not going back to the ArcLight Hollywood days. I used to always try to be in row N, like Nancy. And then the compromise would be O or M, but N was always my favorite row at like ArcLight. So I get it.
Yeah, it really all depends on the kind of theater I'm in. Like again, if it's a true IMAX screen, and there's not many of those, but if it's a true IMAX screen, as dead center as I possibly can get it. I mean, because the screen's so big that the angles do become an issue and all that kind of stuff. So dead center. In a quote unquote normal theater, like I said, I like to be in the second row of the main section of seats because, you got the front 3 or 4 or 5 rows. Then you have the walkway, then the main body of seats. I like to sit in the second row of the main body of seats behind one of the empty slots that they keep open for wheelchair and handicap accessible, because 95% of the time nobody's there and I get to put my legs up on the bar, stretch my legs out, relax, and I don't have to worry about it. If it's in almost any other kind of theater, like a AMC XL or something like that, I like to be a little bit further back. Don't know why. I like to be like in the back 2 or 3 rows. Maybe that just goes back to my high school days and where I like to sit in the classroom. I don't know. But yeah, it really depends from theater to theater for me. All right, what's next?
A. Marcellus with a $20 super chat.
Thank you, A. Marcellus. Appreciate that, man.
I always sit in the C to E row, depending on the theater, at the very end to the left. I don't like the middle, call it paranoia, but ever since the Dark Knight shooting, I always look for an easy way out. Plus, I live in New York City.
I hate saying it. I mean, okay. Look, statistically speaking, you have about as good of a chance of being struck by lightning as you do of, suffering of an act of violence in a movie theater. That being said, I get it.
Yeah,
I do. It's one of the unfortunate realities of living in this world, or not even in this country. It's one of the realities here. A lot of other countries you don't have to worry about it, but in this one you kind of do. And so I get that. I really do. One of the big things for me is one of the reasons I don't like being dead center, even though I do it if it's an IMAX screening, is if the movie's longer or if I didn't plan it out right and I realize, oh my God, I forgot to go to the bathroom before I came in, and somewhere in the movie I got to go to the bathroom. I hate having to walk in front of people and ask them to either stand up or scrunch up in their seat as I go, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. I hate doing that. Oh, I hate doing that so much. I don't mind being the one to stand up and move into my seat more to let people by. I don't mind that, but I hate being the one that has to be the walker.
No, that's
I hate that.
100%
So-
why I don't do it.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable sitting closer to an aisle if I can.
Yeah. Maybe 4 or 5 in, but yeah, not a
Yes,
lot.
exactly. Because so if I have to go out, I can inconvenience as few people as possible. It's just one of the self-conscious things.
But I
about
love
me.
Roger and the AMC, the Dolby Cinema, because it's that extra wide.
Oh, yeah.
aisle. I just love that aisle.
Yep, makes it much easier.
Silent Ghost. My local theater is my second home. I love the theatrical experience. Glad Netflix saw the light. All media is more enjoyable on the silver screen.
It's more enjoyable on two different fronts. It's better on two different fronts. One is, look, I've got a 100-inch 4K Dolby sound television in my living room. I got Sonos Surround. It's crap compared to a real movie theater. It's crap compared to a real movie theater. I don't care how good you think your home theater setup is.
You don't get that deprivation.
It's crap compared to a real movie theater. Actually, Jonathan, put your camera on for a second.
on me. On me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a 150-inch screen behind Jonathan. A 150-inch screen behind Jonathan. It's crap compared to a real movie theater. Anyway, so there's that level. The second thing is movies are just better in a crowd. They're always more enjoyable in a crowd. To gasp, to jump, to scream, to laugh, to cheer. It's just always a better experience. So yeah, man, I will take a movie theater experience 11 times out of 10. Always, 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 always. All right, what's next?
Silent Ghost says, hopefully the sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters releases in theaters. Will you or Ann watch it there if it does?
Well, I'm not really going to have a choice. Like, I don't think K-pop Demon Hunters is that good of a movie, despite the fact that I am obsessed with the music in it. I love the soundtrack. Absolutely love it. My wife really loves the movie. She actually, she did cosplay. Actually, I should see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find it. My wife Ann cosplayed as K-pop Demon Hunters. All I can think about is Bad Bunny. You do not understand the K-pop Demon Hunters. That was really funny. That was really, really good. Let me see if I can find. Actually, let me do a quick search here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find it, but I hope that I am. Oh, there we go. Okay, yes. There's my wife Ann, where she cosplayed as Rumi from the movie. Let me see if I can find another one of her. And we were at the LA Comic-Con, and like, listen, you gotta understand, I get stopped a lot at Comic-Cons and conventions and stuff like that because we run into people who watch the show. Like 10 to 1. Every little girl in the place. Moms would come up to Anne and say, "Can my daughter take a picture with you?" I mean, she was like, my wife was like the most popular person at that with amongst kids there dressing up. So yes, my wife Anne loves the K-pop Demon Hunters. She loves them. And so I'm going to go see if they put that in theaters. I'm going to go see it whether I like it or not, because I'm pretty sure she's going to insist. All right, what's next?
All right. Dean Talks Movies gives some support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Talks.
And then our final is can't wait for Project Hail Mary. Haven't read the book, but the good press from you and Rob has me hyped.
Dude, I'm telling you what, just the last trailer. Now, granted, the first trailer was a bit of a mixed bag. And it was very confusing to us because we saw the presentation at CinemaCon. It was so great. And then they released the first trailer and it was just kind of out of step with what we felt like watching the presentation That was much different stuff at CinemaCon. But then the last trailer, the main trailer came out. And like, even if I hadn't read the book, I'd be excited about this.
There's
I really
actually one more I forgot. I refreshed.
All right.
But yeah. Also, Dean Talks Movies, yet again, some support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, man. I appreciate
and then
that.
Team Caboozles is the final one. The Project Hail Mary Love makes me wonder what Lord and Miller solo would look like. I don't know if it would have been better, but I think it would have been more memorable.
I don't think so. I don't think. And listen, I say that as somebody who's a huge Lord and Miller fan. But look, like, everybody has a bad day at the office and everybody makes mistakes and whatever. And Lord and Miller did something they should not have done. When they were brought into Lucasfilm, they understood the type of movie that the vision was for, and they agreed to make that kind of a movie. They said they were excited about it. They said, this is great. We're going to make this kind of a movie. But then when they would check in, Lucasfilm really found that they were not making the movie they had agreed to make. And they weren't happy with it. And Lawrence Kasdan, the guy who wrote Empire Strikes Back,
Right.
he wasn't happy with it.
No.
And
That could have been dangerous for their career.
it could have been, it could have been. And so they made the decision. And you know me, they couldn't have gotten Kathleen Kennedy out of there fast enough, but it was the right decision. They made the decision to let Lord and Miller go and go back to the drawing board and make the movie they were planning on making. Now, look, making a solo movie from the day they announced it, I always said was a mistake. It was an absolute mistake to make a solo movie at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I think that the movie that Ron Howard ended up delivering was a really enjoyable movie. I think Solo, which is the only flop, if you don't count that ridiculous, stupid animated Clone Wars movie they put in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the only flop they ever did. But that doesn't matter. It was actually really quite enjoyable, fun space adventure movie. I had a good time with it.
I liked it. Yeah.
And I actually think, as great as Lord and Miller are, and as much as I love Lord and Miller, it was the right thing for them to move on from it, for them to move on from Lord and Miller. And I mean, hindsight is always, what they say, perfect vision 2020, but nah, they needed to move on from them, and they did. And I think it worked out for the best. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. A big thanks, of course, to our friend Robert Meyer Burnett, to our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.